the krona has been the currency of Sweden since 1873. Both the ISO code SEK and currency sign KR are in common use. The former precedes or follows the value, the latter usually follows it, but especially in the past, it sometimes preceded the value. In English, the currency is sometimes referred to as the Swedish crown, since krona literally means crown in Swedish. The Swedish krona was the 11th most traded currency in the world by value in April 2013. 1 krona is subdivided into 100 a paragraph re. However, all a paragraph re coins have been discontinued as of September 30, 2010. Goods can still be priced in a paragraph re, but all sums are rounded to the nearest krona when paying with cash. History: the introduction of the krona, which replaced at par the riksdaler, was a result of the Scandinavian Monetary Union, which came into effect in 1873 and lasted until World War I. The parties to the Union were the Scandinavian countries, where the name was krona in Sweden and kron in Denmark and Norway, which in English literally means crown. The three currencies were on the gold standard, with the kron defined as 1/2480 of a kilogram of pure gold. After dissolution of the monetary union, Sweden, Denmark, and Norway all decided to keep the names of their respective and now separate currencies. Coins, contemporary, history. Between 1873 and 1876, coins in denominations of 1, 2, 5, 10, 25, and 50 a paragraph re and 1, 2, 10, and 20 krona were introduced. The 1, 2 and 5 a paragraph re were in bronze, the 10, 25, 50 a paragraph re and 1 krona and 2 krona were in silver, and the 10 and 20 krona were in gold. Gold 5 krona coins were added in 1881. In 1902, production of gold coins ceased, and was briefly restarted in 1920 and 1925 before ceasing entirely. Due to metal shortages during World War I, iron replaced bronze between 1917 and 1919. Nickel-bronze replaced silver in the 10, 25 and 50 a paragraph re in 1920, with silver returning in 1927. Metal shortages due to World War II again led to changes in the Swedish coinage. Between 1940 and 1947, the nickel-bronze 10, 25 and 50 a paragraph re were again issued. In 1942, iron again replaced bronze and the silver content of the other coins was reduced. In 1962, Q-Chronicle replaced silver in the 10 a paragraph re, 25 a paragraph re and 50 a paragraph re coins. In 1968, the 2 krona switched to Q-Chronicle and the 1 krona switched to Q-Chronicle clad copper. Nonetheless, all previous mintages of 1 and 2 krona coins are still legal tender, since 1875 and 1876 respectively. A new design of 2 krona coins will be issued in 2016. In 1954, 1955 and 1971, 5 krona silver coins were produced, with designs similar to contemporary 1 krona and 2 krona coins. In 1972, a new, smaller 5 krona coin was introduced, struck in Q-Chronicle clad nickel. The current design has been produced since 1976. 5 krona coins minted since 1954 are legal tender but tend to be kept by collectors for their silver content. In 1971, the 1 and 2 a paragraph re, as well as the 2 krona coins ceased production. The size of the 5 a paragraph re coin was reduced in 1972. In 1984, production of the 5 and 25 a paragraph re coins came to an end, followed by that of the 10 a paragraph re in 1991. In 1991, aluminium brass 10 krona coins were introduced. Previous 10 krona coins are not legal tender. Also in 1991, bronze-colored 50 a paragraph re coins were introduced. Jubilee and commemorative coins have been minted and those since 1897 or later are also legal tender. The royal motto of the monarch is also inscribed on many of the coins. The 5 krona coin was designed in 1974, at a time when there were political efforts to abandon the monarchy, when there was a new young inexperienced king. The monarchy remained, but the 5 krona was not given a portrait. Coins minted before 1974 have the same size, but contain the portrait of King Gustav VI Adolf and his royal motto. Recent changes: on December 18, 2008, the Riksbank announced a proposal to phase out the 50 paragraph re, the final paragraph re coin, by 2010. The A paragraph re would still remain a subdivision unit for electronic payments. The reason could include low purchasing power, higher production and distribution costs than the value, and the coins cannot be used in most parking machines and vending machines. On March 25, 2009, the Riksdag formally decided to enact the law to repeal 50 paragraph re coins as legal tender. Under that law, the final date payments could be made with 50 paragraph re coins was September 30, 2010. Remaining 50 paragraph re coins could be exchanged at banks until the end of March 2011. Planned coins: on September 11, 2012, the Riksbank announced a new series of coins to replace the 1 and 5 krona coins, which will be arriving in 2016. Under the theme of Sol, Vind och Vatten, this would also include the reintroduction of the 2 krona coin along the other coins. The current 10 krona coin would remain the same. The new coins would also have a new portrait of the king in the design. One of the reasons for a new series of coins is to end the use of nickel in the coins. Banknotes, contemporary notes, history: in 1874, notes were introduced by the Riksbank in denominations of 1 krona and 5 krona, 10 krona, 50 krona, 100 krona and 1000 krona. The 1 krona was only initially issued for 2 years, although it reappeared between 1914 and 1920. In 1939 and 1958, 10,000 krona notes were issued. The 5 krona bill was discontinued in 1981, although a coin had been issued since 1972. In 1985, the 500 krona bill was introduced. With the introduction of a 10 krona coin in 1991, production of 10 krona bills ceased and a 20 krona bill was introduced. Production of 50 krona bills was suspended that year but resumed in 1996. In 2006, the Riksbank introduced a new 1,000 krona note, which is the first bill to contain the motion security feature developed by Crane, then called Tumba Bruk. Crane AB, located in Tumba, Sweden, prints all of the krona banknotes. Planned banknotes: on April 6, 2011, the Riksbank announced the names of the persons whose portraits would decorate the new series of banknotes that would be introduced in 2015. This would also include a new 200 krona banknote. These are: Astrid Lindgren on the 20 krona banknote. Purple, Evert Taube on the 50 krona banknote. Orange, Greta Garbo on the 100 krona banknote. Blue, Enmar Bergman on the new 200 krona. Banknote green, Birgit Nilsson on the 500 krona banknote. Red, Dag Hammarskjöld paragraph LD on the 1000 krona banknote. Brown, on April 24, 2012, the Riksbank has announced the base for the new designs of the banknotes, based on GAR paragraph Rana Stalund's entry titled Cultural Journey. Exchange rate. The exchange rate of the Swedish krona against other currencies has historically been dependent on the monetary policy pursued by Sweden at the time. Since November 1992, a managed float regimen has been upheld. The exchange rate has been relatively stable against the euro since its introduction 2002, but from the second half 2008, the value of the krona has declined by around 20%, and had been oscillating between 10.4 euro 11 Swedish krona per euro into the first half of 2009. The primary reason for its declining value lies with the Riksbank, which has significantly lowered the interest rate, and has not acted to defend the exchange rate yet. In the second half of 2009 and the start of 2010, the krona started to appreciate. During late 2010 and early 2011 it continued to appreciate at a quicker rate. The exchange rate is currently between 8.5 and 9 Swedish krona per EUR. In July 2012, due to crisis in Greece and fear of further spreading to Italy and Spain, the euro continued to decline, making the Swedish krona stronger, reaching as low as 8.17 Swedish krona per EUR. The euro. According to the 1995 accession treaty, Sweden is required to join the Eurozone and therefore must convert to the euro at some point. Notwithstanding this, on September 14, 2003, a consultative Swedish referendum was held on the euro, in which 56% of voters were opposed to the adoption of the currency, out of an overall turnout of 82.6%. The Swedish government has argued such a course of action is possible since one of the requirements for Eurozone membership is a prior 2-year membership of the ERM2. By simply choosing to stay outside the exchange rate mechanism, the Swedish government is provided a formal loophole avoiding the theoretical requirement of adopting the euro. Some of Sweden's major parties continue to believe it would be in the national interest to join, but all parties have pledged to abide by the results of the referendum, and none have shown any interest in raising the issue again. There was an agreement among the parties not to discuss the issue before the 2010 general election. After that, a debate could have started, leading to a new referendum, but none has. Polls in 2005 and 2006 generally showed about 55% of respondents being opposed and 45% in favor. In a poll from May 2007, 33.3% were in favor, while 53.8% were against and 13.0% were uncertain. In February 2009, Fredrik Reinfeldt, the Prime Minister of Sweden, stated that a new referendum on the euro issue will not be held until support is gained from the people and all the major parties. Therefore, the timing is now at the discretion of the Social Democrats. He added, the request of Mona Sahlin, former leader of the Social Democratic Party, for deferral of a new referendum until after the 2010 mandate period should be respected. Currently, as of 2014, support for Swedish membership of the euro among the general population is low. In September 2013, support fell as low as 9%. The only party in the Riksdag that supports Swedish entry in the euro at the current moment is the centrist Liberal Fioppli Euro Unregistered Trademark S Party. Current SEK exchange rates, see also, Monetary Policy of Sweden, Swedish National Debt Office, Tables of historical exchange rates to the United States dollar, Scandinavian Monetary Union, Swedish rounding, Economy of Sweden, Sweden and the euro, references. Further reading, Kraus, Chester L., and Clifford Mishler. Standard Catalogue of World Coins, 1801 a Euro 1991. Kraus Publications. ISBN A0873411501 Pick, Albert. Standard Catalogue of World Paper Money, General Issues. Colin A. Bruce II and Neil Schaffer. Kraus Publications. ISBN A0-87341-207-9 External links, Sveriges Riksbank, Swedish Monetary Standards in Historical Perspective.